r/AskReddit. What would 12 years old you think of how you are now? He would honestly think I'm like the coolest guy ever and be pumped about the future. But that's just because he had really bad taste. Sure, I become successful but my hairline is going to recede and start becoming bald, starts violently sobbing. 12-year-old me had no friends, was bullied, and hated everything in his life. He had fears of getting fat, dying alone, and spending his days hidden from the world. He would cry at how well we've wound up. Married, working as an engineer, with a home, a baby on the way, shitloads of close friends whom I love and would do anything for, and the kids who used to bully me wound up exactly where they belonged. I'm more fit now, so he'd probably be like, damn bro, nice biceps. Hey, you have Star Wars. It's right here on the shelf. Hey, why is it on the shelf? Why aren't you watching Star Wars? You have Star Wars. Can we watch Star Wars now? Probably nothing. That would require me taking my mind off of my hot math teacher Miss Harper. And that rarely happened with 12-year-old me. I'd be very impressed. I was overweight, depressed, basically friendless, and didn't know at the time. But being an adult now, it is very clear, some kind of attention disorder. Had horrible grades because I just didn't care, parents didn't, so why should I? Wasn't into sports at the time either. I'm now in a successful position in a very successful company, with a great social life and an awesome little family. I just bought a house I'd never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be able to afford. I'm still about 20 pounds overweight. But my husband likes my curvy butt and chest, so I call that a win, I suppose. Don't get me wrong. There have been plenty of ups and downs. But overall, I'm doing alright for myself, which is something I'd never thought would be the case at 12. She'd be appalled at who I married. My husband and I went to grade school together. We did not get along at all. Probably disappointed I didn't go to her school of choice or finish college. I'm not a famous artist. I don't work for Marvel Comics. And I don't have any kids. The me of today is what a 12-year-old version fantasized about becoming. A performing musician and instructor professor. Can only speculate. But I think the 12-year-old me would be surprised and pleased that it actually happened after years of study and hard work. She wouldn't waste her time thinking about old people. Anyone over 30 was not interesting. Woo wow. So I'm gay? You're going to drink that much? At 11 AM. Probably upset that I'm not a vet and don't own a Scarlet Macaw. It's okay. Little me. I found a much better aspiration and I have a cool ferret instead. He'd be stoked that I still play D&D and probably faint in joy at the sight of my RPG bookshelf. I hope she'd be proud. I've gone a lot I never thought I ever could. Ashamed. She'd be proud. She stood up to her abusive mother and got the help she's always needed. Edit. Holy shit. My first silver. Thank you, kind stranger. Terribly disappointed and saddened. Even if things aren't bad necessarily, it will be disappointing for a good number of people BC of the killing of most childhood dreams. He'd ask why I am still alive. She'd think I'm hot. 12-year me would call 19-year me a pedophile. Too bad his dad's going to die in a month. And puberty is going to hit him like a freight train in a week. He would think that getting divorced meant that I had failed as a person. And he would be very wrong. Bro, your life is boring. Shocked that I was actually diagnosed with a mental illness. Sad because mom has passed. Happy that I have my own PC. Freaked because I hated long hair. Which is what I have now. I was an idiot at 12, so he'd think I was cool. Now me is an idiot too, but I only think I'm kinda cool. Damn, you smoke a lot of weed. Fuck. I'm gay. Oh, all the softball makes sense now. Ha. Gay. Jealous of the allowance my boss gives me. Little does he know. It's actually pitiful. He would probably say something along the lines of, God, I hope I'm not like that guy when I grow up. Depressed that he could ever become this old. Even if it's just 30. That's an impossibly high age to 12-year-old me. He'd probably be stoked that he'll look more cool. Most likely be endlessly confused why I'm into fashion and makeup. Then be stoked again because I'm a graphic designer and I was always mystified at how things like that were made. And then he'd be pissed again because I'm on a rough patch RN. He would think I was a loser because I put down the skateboard and started actually trying to be a part of society. Shit, he would call me a fucking loser. You turned out exactly how I expected. But somehow, I'm still disappointed. I think she'd be surprised that I didn't kill myself at age 15. I expected nothing and still I'm disappointed. Disappointed. 50-50. I suppose. Surprised I'm alive and sane. But sad I'm not a rich badass. Disappointed that I'm not sticking it to the man. Happy that by not sticking it to the man I'm able to make good money. Leave my parents' house. Have a great gaming PC and I'm good with girls now. The receding hairline would make him very worried though. Wait. How are you a girl? He'd think it's pretty cool that I have the same best friend after 10 plus years. But would probably be very disappointed that I don't frequently go buy myself an entire bag of candy. Probably pretty cool. Also kind of shocked based on how different the two versions are. I'm 25 now. I now speak Japanese. My 12-year-old me must be so proud, but I still failed my third Japanese proficiency test, so my 20-year-old me must be disappointed. I have a job and now working in a Japanese company. My 12-year-old self must be so proud, but it sucks and it's been 5 years. My 23-year-old me must be disappointed. I had a girlfriend. My 12-year-old self must be so proud, but we're not together anymore. My 22-year-old self must be disappointed. My 12-year-old self would be proud. A little confused, surprised with where I ended up. It's different from what my 12-year-old self saw. But I have a heckin' good life, so I think they'd be proud of all the work I've done and who I've become. He would be disappointed because I'm not a professional football player or a rap artist. That little delusional brat. Ugh. Gross. I'm fat in the future and almost bald. Just kill me already. Well, considering that I turned 13 4 days ago, he wouldn't think a whole lot. Would have ended his life to not go trough any more suffering. I think 12-year-old me would be proud of the person I've become. But horrified at my major. For an explanation, I am a chemical engineering major. Honestly, he'd think I'm awesome. I came out much more attractive than I ever thought. For starters, I get to make pictures for a living, and the minor success I've had with my band and writing music, all while being in a long-term relationship. Only downside is still living with my parents. A shitload of student loan debt. Sometimes crippling anxiety. And a minor drinking problem. Honestly, it would be different. I'm out now. I'm a dude now. She would be so scared, LMAO. And now that she's a he woo, I have boy sauce in me. Rather impressed. I was an affable kid. If a little dorky. At 47. I work as a software engineer making 6 figures. Have a lot of money. Plus I'm married to a hot chick. And we have 2 great kids. These are all things I dreamed of having one day. Plus I served in the military. Traveled the world. Learned 2 foreign languages. And even became an ordained minister. I did not anticipate that at 12. TBH. I think 12-year-old me would be happy that I have friends. Like really happy, cause I didn't really have any friends until I was 13. Disgusted. It turns out I'm gay. And 12-year-old me was a huge homophobe. Also, 12-year-old me would be severely disappointed that I am an atheist. He'd probably be stoked to know I still like Minecraft and Lego 8 years later. Disappointed because my life is nothing like she wanted. 16-year-old me would be proud of me dealing with my issues though, and I think that matters more. She would be really disappointed how fat I became. She would be really excited about my husband. My hedgehog. My freedom to buy fancy coffee whenever I feel like it. I think she would be taken aback. But not necessarily surprised by how I'd progressed from being raised in a restrictive Christian homeschool Conservative environment to being a full-blown feminist who believes in universal health care, standard basic income, LGBTQ plus rights, and the rights of women to obtain abortions. Disappointed. Well, I'm not doctor, so I'd be extremely disappointed. Sad. I'm in a wheelchair. So that's what I become, huh? Nah, I'm pass. She would be seriously confused since I was a girl at 12 and now I'm a man at 26. You think finding out liking girls was hard? Honey, you've got a big storm coming. Happy but sad at the same time. He would hate me, but that's okay because I also hate me. So we can be self-loathing buddies. I reckon he'd be pretty surprised how much his actions keep me up at night. Damn, I grow up to look like that? Foo-hoo-wuck. Disappointed at best. Why are you still a virgin? Even I lost my virginity. She'll get depression earlier. Like and subscribe if you want to.